The most recent U.S. Census Bureau population estimates are out, and it's an up and down situation for Western Massachusetts. Like Massachusetts as a whole, Hampden and Hampshire counties saw growth, but Franklin and Berkshire County did not. Mark Maloy studies a number of Berkshire County trends as GIS data and IT manager with the Berkshire Regional Planning Commission. Do the recent estimates jibe with his research? Here's what he said.
It's actually pretty close to what we've been forecasting. You know, the estimate was around a loss of 5,000 since 2010, and we were looking at maybe 4,000. So it's pretty close to what we were thinking for the county.
Yeah. Small sliver of good news in this good news, bad news situation. Williamstown did see some growth while the majority of the county did not. And actually 3% growth in Williamstown, largely attributed to Williams College being there. Are students counted as full-time residents, or how is that calculation worked out?
Yeah, so students are counted as a resident of where they go to school, because that's where they live most of the time. Williamstown, you know, they have an advantage because Williams College is there, and other college communities will see the same thing. They'll see a higher population because of the colleges.
Yeah, actually, if you look at Western Mass, sort of zoom out and look at Western Mass as a whole, Franklin County did see decline, as did Berkshire County, but Hampshire County, which is home to several colleges and universities, saw growth, about 2% there. And then Hampden County, the Springfield area, saw about 1.5% growth in some colleges in that region as well. Right. Massachusetts as a whole, too, saw growth, and the Berkshires did not. You also pointed out before we started rolling, the Cape saw some population loss, and I immediately thought, well, Berkshire County and the Cape have one massive thing in common, not the ocean, but second home ownership. Right. What impact, if any, does second home ownership have on population?
So second homeowners, it impacts it a number of ways. The biggest one is the demand for housing. So second homeowners come in and they may buy up some of the more higher quality housing. And so that's more of a struggle for the locals to afford quality housing. But they also changed the dynamics of the economics of the region, where we've become more of a service-based industry or region. And so that impacts the wages and what people can afford for housing. So they're both kind of related there.
Let's look at some more historic data. I've also seen some of the modeling that you've done. 1970, if I'm correct, Berkshire County saw its biggest population, and then it has kind of ticked downward since then.
Correct.
In terms of what would need to happen to turn this around, you know, we hear a lot of talk about commuter rail, whether that's to New York or to Boston, and whether or not things like that, a more effective internet infrastructure could be helpful. Is it things like that that would make a difference, or?
There's a lot of things and everything. The commuter rail to New York to Boston can make a difference. Improved internet will definitely make a difference. Anything we can do to attract more young adults to the Berkshires can only help us in the long run. We have a shortage of young adults. We're an older population, which is why we're going to look at that big decline in population in the future. So again, anything we can do to make it more attractive to young adults should help stabilize our population.
And certainly there have been concerted efforts in the Berkshires to do just that, whether it's Berkshire Young Professionals or direct advertising to younger populations, or businesses like General Dynamics and others really recruiting a younger workforce to come to the community. Is it a matter of that combination of efforts not being enough or done well enough?
A lot of it's a global trend and even national trend in terms of urbanization of the country and hollowing out the rural areas. We see that nationally. We see it in the Northeast. We see it here in Massachusetts. The more rural areas aren't as attractive to young adults in general. And so that's, you know, one of the reasons we've been losing them. All the efforts we've made, we think have helped, but it may not have been enough yet. And so it's continuing to coordinate the efforts to attract young adults is what the region needs.
As you're looking at this, the estimates that we're talking about are from the Census Bureau. And I think that 2020 is a census year. People could hear, all right, we're talking about these estimates, but it's also a year that the census is going to be done. And census is the official count that's looked at for federal representation as well as some federal funding that communities are given. Why even have the estimates? Does that muddy the waters?
It can muddy the waters a little bit. Going 10 years, though, between getting a count is tough for the region, for any community, not knowing what your population is, not knowing if it's going up, going down, how it's changing. So the estimates provide an important role for the communities and community organization, understanding what's going on prior to the next decennial census, which in this case is just 2 months away.
Yeah, it's coming right up.
Yeah.
People will start seeing people at their doors, or they'll be filling out that information online.
Correct.
Has there been an instance in the past where an estimate and the census have been really far apart?
So over the last 2 decades prior to this one, so the 90s and the early 2000s, the census estimates overestimated the loss. So they would say we lost 5,000 or 6,000. We only lost 3,000, hypothetically. So we're hoping, again, with this one, they say we have lost around 5,000. Maybe we've only lost 3,000 or 4,000 is what we hope.
So we'll know relatively very shortly.
Another year or so, we should get those final numbers, yeah.
If there's a message you want to send to people about the importance of being counted here in this census coming up, what is the impact?
The census impacts everyone, whether it's your legislative delegation or financial resources coming into your region. And with a region that's losing population, it's even more critical that everyone fills out the census. We don't want to see our legislative districts get bigger than they already are. We don't want to lose money coming into the region. That money impacts transportation funding, it impacts Medicare and Medicaid, impacts food stamps, wide variety of programs that rely on the census numbers to help with their funding. And so it does impact everyone in some regard. And so it's just getting that word out that, it's important for everyone to fill it out.